Welcome. Today, we're diving straight into a really crucial area for anyone employing staff right here in the UK, payroll reporting.
Yeah, absolutely vital stuff.
And this discussion has actually been arranged for us by Pro Tax Accountant. They're a very well-known UK accounting firm.
That's right. They wanted to help businesses, big or small, get a clear grip on reporting payroll to HMRC.
So what we're going to do is unpack what employers really need to know to, well, stay compliant.
Exactly. And the big thing driving all this now is the real-time information system. RTI, most people call it.
RTI, right. I hear that term a lot.
Yeah.
So what did it actually change? In simple terms.
Well, think of it like this. Before about 2013, businesses reported pay and tax stuff, mostly, at the end of the tax year.
Okay, like an annual summary.
Pretty much. But RTI flipped that completely. Now, every single time you pay your employees that info, it goes straight to HMRC, almost instantly.
Wow. Okay, so it's much more immediate.
Definitely. A constant flow of data.
Which sounds like maybe more to keep track of regularly. Why is getting this reporting absolutely spot on so critical?
It's fundamental, honestly. Whether you're running a tiny cafe or a massive company, slip-ups in payroll reporting, they can cause huge problems.
Like what kind of problems?
Well, first off, your team not getting paid right. That leads to unhappy staff, obviously. Then you've got tax errors, which are just a nightmare to sort out later. It can mess up things like universal credit for your employees, too. And don't forget the fines from HMRC. They start at £100 a month per missed report.
Ouch. £100 a month, that adds up fast.
It really does. So it's way more than just, ticking a box.
Right. So the core reasons are?
Accurate pay and deductions for your people. That's number one, making sure HMRC has the right info so tax codes are correct, ensuring employees can get refunds or benefits they're due, and, of course, keeping your business compliant, staying legal.
Okay, makes sense. Let's get into the nitty-gritty then. What are the key tax figures employers need slammed in their brains for this tax year, 2025-26?
Right. Okay, so based on HMRC info from March 2025, the personal allowance is the income you get tax-free is £12,570.
£12,570. Got it.
Then the basic rate tax band. That's 20% tax. It applies to earnings from £12,571 right up to £50,270.
So the first slice of taxable income.
Exactly. After that, you hit the higher rate. That's 40% tax on earnings between £50,271 and £125,140.
Okay, kind of jumped there.
And then for earnings over £125,140, it's the additional rate, which is 45%. So it climbs up.
A tiered system. What about national insurance? Similar idea with thresholds.
Yes, very similar. For employees, they start paying national insurance contributions, or NICs, once they earn over £12,570 a year.
Right, 9,100. And student loans, so common these days.
Absolutely. And you got different plans, which is key. Plan 1, the repayment threshold is £24,990.
Okay.
Plan 2, it's £27,295. Plan 4, that's mainly for Scottish loans, is £27,660.
And postgraduate loans.
Yep, there's one for those too. The postgraduate loan threshold is £21,000. So you really need to know which plan applies.
That is quite a few numbers to keep straight.
It is. But look, the good news is HMRC-approved payroll software handles all these calculations. Phew.
That's a relief.
Yeah, these figures are basically built into the software. It does the heavy lifting.
Okay, good. So let's walk through how it actually works then. Reporting under RPI, step by step.
Right. Step 1, and this is non-negotiable really, is using HMRC-approved payroll software.
They mandate that.
For most employers, yes. It calculates the tax, the NICs, generates pay slips, and crucially, it sends the reports, the FPS and EPS, to HMRC for you.
FPS and EPS, we'll come back to those. Where do you find this software?
Just head to gov.uk. Search for payroll software. There's a whole list of recognized providers. That software is your main compliance tool.
Got it. So software first, then what?
Step 2 is actually running your payroll and sending a full payment submission, an FPS.
Full payment submission, okay.
And the timing is critical. It has to be sent on or before the employee's payday, not after.
On or before.
When you run payroll, the software logs everything, gross pay, bonuses, overtime, whatever. It works out the tax, NICs, student loan, pension deductions, all of it.
For every single employee.
For every employee paid in that run, yes. All that detail gets bundled into the FPS and zapped electronically to HMRC.
Can you give us a quick example, make it real?
Sure. Let's say you've got Alfie Braithwaite. He earns £2,800 a month. Your software calculates, say, 400 pounds income tax and 230 pounds NICs for him this month.
Okay.
That info, his pay, his deductions, his personal details, all goes into the FPS, which you send on or before his payday.
Right. So the FPS is the detailed breakdown. What's step 3? Getting the money to HMRC.
Exactly. Step 3 is paying HMRC.
Yeah.
Your software adds up all the tax and NICs from all your FPSs for that period.
And tells you the total due.
Yes.
Yeah.
The deadlines for paying are usually the 22nd of the next month. If you pay electronically, most people do.
And if you still use the post?
Then it's the 19th. Oh, and quick note. Smaller businesses, if their total PAYE bill is under £1,500 a month, might be able to pay quarterly.
Ah, okay. Good to know for smaller outfits. So report instantly, pay monthly, or maybe quarterly. Makes sense. Now, we touched on penalties. What happens if you do submit late or get things wrong?
Yeah, the consequences are pretty real. Miss an FPS deadline, you're looking at penalties, like we said, 100 to 400 pounds a month, depending on your size, plus a warning notice.
Not ideal.
No. Another big one is using the wrong payroll ID, especially if you've changed software.
Payroll ID.
It's the unique reference for each employee's job within your PAYE scheme. If you switch software and don't tell HMRC the ID is changed using a specific indicator,
What happens?
duplicated records, wrong tax codes, massive confusion for the employee, it's messy.
Sounds like it. Any other pitfalls?
Yes, statutory payments. If you pay someone maternity pay or sick pay, for example, you usually claim some of that back from HMRC. But you need to set an employer payment summary, an EPS, to do that. Get the EPS. You miss out on reclaiming that money.
Ah, the EPS.
Okay, and one more. If HMRC sees no activity, no reports from your payee scheme for 120 days, they might just automatically close it down.
Wow. Okay. That could be awkward if you suddenly need it again.
Very awkward.
Let's circle back to the tax thresholds. How does that personal allowance, the 12,570 pounds, actually work in practice on a payslip?
Okay, so that 12,570 pounds is the tax-free amount for the year. Usually it's just spread evenly across the tax year through the employee tax code. So each month or week, a portion is tax-free.
But you mentioned it changes for high earners.
Yes, exactly. If someone earns over 100,000 pounds a year, their personal allowance starts to shrink. For every 2 pounds they earn over 100 pounds, they lose 1 pound of their allowance.
So earn enough over 100 pounds and you lose the whole allowance.
Pretty much, yes. Eventually it disappears completely.
Okay. Can we do a quick calculation example?
Sure. Let's take Georgina Whitaker. Gross monthly pay, 4,500 pounds. Standard tax code, 1257L. Her approximate monthly deductions might be something like income tax, maybe 694 hours. Employee NACs, around 442 TES. If she has a Plan 2 student loan, maybe $88 for that.
Leading to a net pay of?
Around $3,276, give or take. But again, the crucial bit is the software does this math based on the rules and reports it via the FPS.
Thank goodness for software. Now, emergency tax, people hate seeing that on their payslip. Why does it happen?
Yeah, no one likes emergency tax. Codes like 1257LW1 or M1. It usually happens with new starters if you don't have their P45 from their last job or their starter checklist details aren't fully processed yet.
And why does it mean less take-home pay?
Because the tax-free personal allowance isn't spread across the year. It's applied just on a week 1 or month 1 basis.
Yeah.
So in that first pay period, you don't get the full benefit of the allowance you'd normally get for that period, meaning more tax is taken.
Right, that makes sense. How can employers stop that happening to new joiners?
Best things are, get that first FPS submitted super quickly for the new person. Be really diligent about getting their P45 or a completed starter checklist. Input that data accurately straight away.
So efficient onboarding.
Exactly. And maybe gently remind the employee to check their own tax code online via their HMRC personal tax account. Make sure it looks right.
Good advice. Okay, we've mentioned the FPS and the EPS a few times. We know FPS is for payments to employees. What's the EPS specifically for? When do you send that?
Right, the Employer Payment Summary EPS. Think of it as the way you tell HMRC about adjustments to what you owe them. You send it by the 19th of the following tax month.
And what does it adjust?
Primarily, it's used to reclaim statutory payments like statutory maternity, paternity, adoption, shared parental, or sick pay you've paid out.
Ah, so you get that money back via the EPS.
You tell HMRC how much you've paid out, and it reduces the PAYE you owe them that month. You also use an EPS to tell HMRC if you didn't pay anyone in a tax month, so they don't chase you for a missing FPS.
Okay, that's important. Anything else on the EPS?
Yes. You also report things like apprenticeship levy reductions, if applicable, and any deductions suffered under the Construction Industry Scheme, CIS, if you're a subcontractor reclaiming that tax.
Got it. So FPS for employee payments, and EPS for adjustments and reclaims.
That's a good summary, yeah.
What are the most common mistakes people make with these RTI submissions? The things that trip businesses up?
Top of the list, late FPS submissions. Easily done, but triggers those penalties. Using software with built-in reminders really helps.
Okay. What else?
Those payroll ID errors we talked about, especially when switching software. Forgetting to tick that payroll ID changed indicator box causes real problems. Use it.
Right, the indicator. Crucial.
And just not getting new starter details right from the beginning, not chasing the P45 or using the starter checklist properly, leads straight to those emergency tax issues. Accuracy from day one is key.
Attention to detail seems paramount. Now, flipping it around, how does RTI actually help employees? You mentioned faster refunds.
Yeah, because HMRC gets up-to-date earnings and tax info constantly. If someone has overpaid tax during the year, HMRC can spot it and process refunds much quicker than they used to.
That's definitely a plus.
Absolutely. It also feeds directly into universal credit calculations. The DWP uses RTI data to work out how much benefit someone should get based on their real-time earnings.
So, more accurate benefits payments too.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
And it helps confirm pension contributions are being made correctly as well. It just makes the whole system more joined up and responsive.
You mentioned Nigel Haverford earlier, the chap with the emergency tax nightmare due to his old employer's mistake.
That's right. His old employer didn't file his final FPS correctly. HMRC thought he still worked there and at his new job. Double tax, emergency codes everywhere. It took months to fix.
Oof. Really shows the knock-on effect of getting it wrong.
Definitely. One employer's error caused him a lot of hassle.
So let's be crystal clear. What are the main consequences, sort of summarized, if employers just don't report properly or consistently make mistakes?
Okay, quick rundown. Late FPS. Penalty and warning. Don't send an EPS when you didn't pay anyone. HMRC might assume you did pay and charge you PAYE anyway.
Right.
Duplicate payroll IDs. Messy records. Wrong tax calcs. No reports at all for 120 days. Payee scheme closure, potentially.
Okay.
Persistent mistakes. Could lead to a full HMRC audit, bigger penalties. And don't forget the employee impact could even affect things like getting a mortgage if their payslips or HMRC records look wrong.
That's a serious point.
Okay.
Okay, just for clarity, can you quickly recap those key deadlines again for 2025?
Sure. Submit FPS on or before each payday. Submit EPS if needed. By the 19th of the next tax month, pay HMRC electronically. By the 22nd of the next tax month, pay HMRC by post. By the 19th of the next tax month.
And always check gov.uk for the latest.
Always the best bet for specifics, yes.
Yeah.
Gov.uk pay tax is the place to look.
What if you realize you have made a mistake after sending an FPS panic stations?
No, don't panic, just fix it. If you spot an error, wrong pay, wrong deductions, wrong employee details, anything, send it to amended FPS as soon as you can.
So you can correct submissions.
Yes, your payroll software should allow you to send a correction FPS to update HMRC's records. Do it promptly.
Good to know it's fixable.
Absolutely. Aim for accuracy first time, but correct mistakes quickly if they happen.
Well, this has been incredibly helpful, a really clear guide through UK payroll reporting and RTI. Just to wrap up, the key takeaways are...
I'd say accuracy and timeliness are everything. Use HMRC-recognized software. It's pretty much essential. Understand the difference between the FPS and the EPS and when to send them.
And be aware of the consequences.
Definitely. Penalties are real. Audits can happen. But remember, getting it right isn't just about avoiding trouble. It's about paying your people correctly, ensuring they get the right benefits, and running your business smoothly.
Makes perfect sense. Now, for listeners who feel they might need a bit more specific help, maybe navigating some of these complexities, who should they turn to?
Well, for that kind of expert personalized support with UK payroll, I'd strongly suggest contacting the team at ProTax Accountant.
Ah, yes, who arranged our discussion today.
Exactly. They have a fantastic reputation for helping businesses of all shapes and sizes get their payroll running perfectly and staying compliant. They really know their stuff.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for breaking all that down for us. I certainly feel much clearer on it all.
My pleasure. Happy to help.